everyone, to the second episode, actually, of Fire Coaching with Shreyas Koushik and myself. So we're excited to have you all here again and hope that we can deliver great value in the next 20 to 30 minutes. Today, we're talking about leadership. So we're talking about how you can become a better leader, a better boss, and which tricks you can apply to achieve that. So we have, as always, in Fire Coaching, 5 takeaways. So the entire session is set up in 5 takeaways, and we hope you get great value from it, as I mentioned. And I think we are going to jump right into it. We will introduce each other in a few sentences, and then we'll start with the first takeaway. Shreyas, do you want to start?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us on the live session for Fire Coaching. Today, we'll be discussing about leadership. So me being an executive and life coach, I'll be talking on leadership from a coaching perspective. And hopefully, Melanie can add or share her experience working for a good corporate and bring in some good values from a point of view with regards to personal branding. What do you think,
Exactly.
Melanie?
Exactly. Yeah. So my name is Melanie. You're on my LinkedIn, so I hope you know who I am. So I help with personal branding and creating powerful value proposition and pitches. And I wrote a book about exactly this. If you want to take a look at it, just leave a comment and I'm going to respond to it. So I think we are going to jump right into it so that you guys get the most out of the session. So the first takeaway, and we are going to have a lively discussion because, as Shreya said, he has the coaching experience with executives, and I have a lot of experience having bosses. So the first takeaway is be a good listener. So I think we've discussed this before, right, Shreyas? We said this is probably the most important of the 5 takeaways, simply because asking, not just asking questions, but listening intently is something that's relatively rare, but it allows you as an executive to actually hear the problems that people are having. So if you talk less and listen more, you can actually hear the problems, the issues, the roadblocks someone might have. This also means kind of like listening and acting. So I think as a good executive, it's important to talk less, listen, and then act. You don't have to announce what you're acting, but kind of make sure that you're reading between the lines and then implementing without being asked. So I think this is something that makes a very good leader, and that's also what helps you brand yourself as a reliable leader, because if people don't have to approach you in order to solve a problem that a teammate has or that the product company has, but you do it by yourself or from your own initiative, simply because you've been listening, that makes great leaders. What's your experience?
Definitely. Active listening and intuitive listening, these are 2 separate things, but both are equally important when you're in the C-level executive and having a good sizable team to lead. One, basically because you're most often likely to face situations where you might have to negotiate with all the key parties involved, consider all the stakeholders, and arrive at a win-win situation. So for that exact reason, active listening and intuitive listening is really important to gauge, number one, the energy levels that are being displayed by all the stakeholders. Second, to intently listen to the points that are being made and very quickly make an understanding as to whether that might be something you're willing to negotiate upon. And third, to just show that you're interested and that you're maintaining your calm during this negotiation, which will really help with the smooth progress of the situation. So considering all these, reasons, I think active listening is a very good quality that any leader should develop. And more so if you're into the corporate, where you're most often likely to be confronted with the difficult situations, I think listening is definitely something that will help you be patient, be consistent, and also understand the different aspects that are involved so that you can arrive at a win-win situation.
Exactly. I think that's a really good point, because how I have experienced the very good leaders and good bosses is somehow, I mean, their job is to make a company or a team run smoothly, right? And if someone is a good listener, then they make sure, an attentive listener, as you just mentioned, Shreyas, those are the ones who remove the roadblocks of their teammates and in their company, so that the ones who are doing the actual running have no roadblocks, but also they basically have everything they need in order to go ahead and to achieve the goals of the team, or whatever goals they have set. So I think this is one really, really important aspect of being a great leader, being a good boss, being a good listener. That also ties in to being a good mentor. I think these two are really interlinked. And maybe Shreyas, you want to start talking about mentorship, because this is also a big part of what you're doing with executives, teaching them to be good mentors. What's your experience so far?
One aspect of leadership is to definitely mentor your new employees or fresh graduates to easily transition to key leadership roles in your company, because they will be the future leaders. The current leaders cannot just stay in that position for long. So it is really important that as leaders they take up this role of being a mentor, where they slowly start initiating younger graduates to situations gradually, and also helping them out by giving them the nudge in the right direction. I don't really expect leaders to spoon feed younger graduates, but definitely being there and giving that back in support and nudging them in the right direction certainly helps create good leaders for a better tomorrow. And these people, mind you, will not just be with the same company. There will be diverse options where they might transition to become, a leader in their respective governments. They can be politicians. They can transition to any role for that matter. So it is being a mentor is certainly one of the key responsibilities I would say that leaders have to take up, so that they ensure the transition of power is smooth, and also they create some good thought leaders who are passionate about what they do. They're courageous to speak their mind, and at the same time consider the growth of others in the team as well. So it's not just about personal growth, it's the team mentality that grows along with the development of a leader as well. So mentorship is one role where leaders can really curate what kind of progress they want, or what kind of development they want their companies to witness, say, in the next 15, 20 years. And it is, in my opinion, a long-term game to be played.
Totally, and I love that you mentioned that they should kind of nurture the talent that comes after them, or the talent that they are managing. I think this is something that has become somehow really rare. I have the feeling that it's very common to be protective of the knowledge, being protective of maybe even your position, being scared of that the people you lead might take over your position. But a good leader, and this is also I want to bring in the self-marketing perspective here. I think a good leader is someone who can drop the ego and really like share their knowledge, make sure that they give everything they have to nurture the people that they are supposed to nurture. I love, like, I think it was in that movie, what was Hidden Figures, the three women in the NASA movie, where this guy was like super scared that this lady would take over his job, and then the head of the product, or not product, sorry, the head of this department, he said, you know, for you as a leader of this department, you have to see who the brilliant people are, and you have to make sure that they can rise. So, and I feel like this is really how you can brand yourself as a great executive. If you find those talents, like this makes you stand out as a great leader, because you have the eye for the people who can be the leaders of tomorrow, or the people who have a lot of potential. And I think sometimes it's important to keep that in mind, and that means being a good mentor, because only if you're a good mentor, you will notice who the great people are, the people with potential. So I think this is a really, really important part of being a great leader. And one thing I want to mention there too, and I think if you're a great mentor, if you want to brand yourself as that as well, you don't have to be worried that someone takes over your job, because if you do a great job of finding talent, this is your skill, right? So this is what companies will value you for, yourself, and will value you yourself for, that you are the one who finds the cherries in the fruit salad. So I think this is something really important. And I just realized I've actually put that book here because I wanted to show it off, because we're talking about great leaders. And I received this book today. It's actually official launch tomorrow, like the new Obama book. I think this is one of the greatest personal brands and the greatest leaders out there. So I wanted to show it off because I'm so proud that I already got it. And I think it fits in well with what we're talking about today. But now I sidetracked a little bit. So I think what we also wanted to, like, what ties in with the two previous points, and what's another important part of being a good leader is being able to give good feedback. So this is the third point that Shreyas and me were thinking about. And Shreyas, what do you think? What's your experience, and how are you helping people achieve that?
Feedback is really a great way to track your progress. So it can be an appreciation for a job well done, or constructive feedback to just improve on what you could have done better. So having that feedback is really necessary for the growth and development of either an employee, or for that matter, the organization as well. And this feedback should be really natural and empowering in a way where you offer precise feedback, and it shouldn't be seen as pointing out to your positivities or pointing out just your negativities. It should be a careful balance between the two. So give appreciation where due, and offer constructive feedback with an intention for the employee to develop personally and professionally as well. And feedback is also another great way to create awareness. So when employees receive this feedback, they are motivated to be better aware of their own strengths and challenges, so they can utilize the knowledge and the awareness that they have had and improve on future products or the future tasks that has been handed over to them. So it's an indirect way to actually bring out the good and bad in people and help them mitigate the bad and improve on the good, so that the overall end result is positive for one and all involved. And there are no hard or harsh feelings in the process as well, because you don't want to demotivate your team by being really harsh on feedback. which is why it should be constructive. And at the same time, when you motivate, it shouldn't result in overconfidence. So carefully managing the expectations can be done probably through feedback. And it's a great way, definitely, to just bring out the awareness, help your employees have the realizations about what has gone well and what they could have done better, so that the future looks bright for one and all. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I love those points. I think I 100% agree. I think these are the most important. These are the most important skills, like being constructive and motivating. I love that you mentioned that too. I think this is also one of the parts that is often overlooked in feedback talk, that you should always motivate. Like, I think and I can't understand why this is hard. Like, if we have deadlines, if we have numbers to catch, it's hard, and the people don't deliver the way you expect or want them to, or are even required, because maybe you have an investor that wants to see results. So it's really difficult to take a breath and make sure that you're delivering your feedback concisely, but also in a motivating way, so that people don't walk away and think like, what the hell? And I think that's why it's such an important part of leadership. It's such an important part of really learning how to give feedback. And that also helps you, again, in branding. It helps you brand yourself as a very strong leader if you're managing to overcome these challenges of just bursting out and throwing whatever you think at other people, instead of like really taking a minute and thinking, okay, how can I frame this in the best possible way that the person walks away and does exactly what I want that person to do. So today I'm somehow into referencing books, but if you guys have never read Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People, please do. It's incredible and really a Bible. But what he says also, like, he even goes further. He says, don't even criticize. Don't criticize people, because it doesn't get you anywhere. So even if it's so hard to, swallow that annoyance or that frustration, don't criticize, because if you criticize someone, the person walks away and they're mad at you and they are demotivated. They don't have the urge or feeling that they should prove you otherwise. Maybe sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But at least what you'll always have is that they're demotivated, and that doesn't help your cause at all. So I think this is just a small addition to what Shreyas already said, because these were already the most important points that he pointed out there. And so when we were discussing before this call, and we're just lining up the 5 takeaways, we had another one which was very closely connected to feedback, and that was about under-promising and over-delivering, not just as an employee, like normal employee, but also as an executive. We saw that there are 2 angles to this. So one kind of like claiming responsibility. What does that mean? Maybe Shreyas can talk a little bit about that. And the other one is more about like letting your actions speak instead of like saying how awesome you are. Maybe Shreyas, you want to start talking about the responsibility part, because I love that.
Yes. So for me, under promising and over delivering really ties to 2 of the values that I strongly believe, which is walk the talk and practice what you preach. So you don't want to be the cause for any sort of negative criticism, by under promising. So you're literally underselling not just yourself, but the entire team. And when you start over delivering, that just shows, in some situations, it might be overzealousness to achieve something, or it might just be overconfidence in achieving a new thing, probably designing a new product or something like that. So taking responsibility in the right sense is really important for a leader, because you have to really evaluate all the pros and cons, and also think if it is humanly possible to get a particular task done. Since I'm an automotive engineer, I'd like to just take the example of designing a new car for that matter. So it's not just limited to my designs. I love to also ensure that the design is commercially viable, and the manufacturing department can literally create the tools required to manufacture the designs that I provide. And also it should be really appealing to the customers and perform well across markets. So there are wide domains involved in creation of this product. So you don't want to undersell by giving out a plain design, which might be tried and tested by whole different companies, but there is no innovation involved. And at the same time, you don't want to go overboard saying that you create totally completely new design, which the manufacturing team would find it difficult to manufacture. So managing your expectations is what I mean when I say be very responsible and sticking to your values. You don't want to compromise on your values just to achieve something. And as far as I know, the companies will have their own mission and vision statements that you also have to consider. And they have been set for a reason. They want to have a particular image about the brand. They want to maintain the right values. So you don't want to compromise on that at any point. And at the same time, you have your own self-values that you bring to the table. So managing all these expectations will really tie into the fourth point, which is not to under promise and over deliver. So what do you think about actions?
Yeah, I love that example with the car. Actually, it's always great to kind of put it into a visual, right? To have a real idea of what these actions actually mean. And yeah, the only thing I have to add on this is kind of my take on the under promise and over deliver is. So we see a lot of boasting, we see a lot of ego, people kind of making themselves look very important. We have a lot of C-level titles everywhere. So that comes with an expectation, like Shreyas, like what you just said, it comes with an expectation. You have to make sure, if you brand yourself, you have to make sure that you can live up to this, right? So it all sounds great, but people test you on it. And I think we often forget it. So people test you on if you are a leader. If you say you're a CTO or if you say you're a CEO, people will test you if you have the skill to manage people and if you have the skill to solve problems, and people problems are hard. So that's why it's really important to maybe think about, like, whatever you put out there, to think about, is that something I can over deliver on? So, and that really also, I think that kind of guides us in a way that can make us more successful. Because if I shouldn't undersell myself, like, not at all, but if we can manage to say exactly authentically what we're doing, and knowing that you can always put a nudge on top. And this is how you stand out as a great leader. Even if like when you have superiors and they will notice that you are the one executive who manages his team, who can do exactly what he promises, but actually can deliver more. So this is also how I see under promise and over deliver, and how I see it play out in a personal branding way for executives, how they can also strengthen their position. And that goes in both directions, right? That goes in the direction of superiors, but also in the direction of teammates. So if you as an executive can over deliver on how you're dealing with your team and how you're managing things, maybe even, and I think this is a very important part, how you can keep the pressure of the overall company away from your team. Like, let's say you are the head of engineering or the head of marketing, and you manage to deal with the pressure that you as a head of has, and you don't just unfiltered put that on everyone in your marketing team or engineering team. That makes a great leader. That makes a very great leader. And this is also an over delivering. That's a part of over delivering. So I think this is a big part. And what I like, the last point that we wanted to mention, and Shreyas already kind of said a couple of or gave some snippets in that direction, is being authentic. It's the whole values, a moral part, and sticking to what you stand for. Maybe Shreyas, do you want to say a few more things about that? Like, what does it mean for an executive to be authentic, and how do you approach it in your coaching?
Staying authentic is, in one way, staying true to your values, upholding the intentions that you have set, for the duration of your project or for the duration of the product development or whatever that you're involved in. So staying authentic really means to evaluate whether if something is possible for you or not, because oftentimes there will definitely be situations where you need to go back to your drawing board, start once again, and make iterations to come up with the final product. So just accepting what your limitations are and conveying the right decisions, the right flow of thought as a leader to your team, and conveying the team dynamics back to the higher management, or if you're working in the cross-functional teams where 3 to 4 teams have to get together to create a unique product, then it will be the talks between different teams. So it would really help if you can stay true to yourself and stay true to the team ideals that have been conveyed either in your meeting or from what you have gauged as a leader. And also being authentic ties to the other 4 points as well. So offering the right feedback, not under-promising, not over-delivering, and trying to just be good in what you do. So in simple terms, just lead by example. So walk the talk, lead by example. And I think that will really help you stay authentic as well.
Yeah, I love that. Lead by example. That's exactly it. And as you mentioned, I think being authentic really brings in all the other points. Being authentic in the way you deal with superiors and at the same time with your teammates. There should not necessarily be a difference if you're authentic, because the way you communicate authentically should be the same to either the people who can promote you or the people who help you look awesome as a teammate. I think we've also discussed a little bit what it means to take responsibility. This is also something a good leader should be able to do. An authentic leader should be able to do. So if you mess up, just admit it and don't throw other people under the bus. That's something that is also authentic. It helps you brand yourself as a reliable leader that superiors and teammates can trust. So this is another important part. And another one that I want to mention is, if you're authentic and if you are an authentic leader, you should also stand up if you notice that there are, for example, things that are against your morals. If you're working at a company and you notice that there are practices that don't align with how you would approach something. Of course, sometimes they are or you wouldn't agree with everything, obviously. But if there's something that goes against your morals, address it, discuss it with people, and also be authentic and true in these cases, even if these are situations that are not so nice. So I think authenticity is particularly important in situations where it's not that easy. And that's where you stand out as an authentic leader. Shreyas, do you have anything to add? Because we're already at the end of our second session, which I feel like it passed by so quickly. What do you think?
I think the only thing, in addition to the 5 points that we have already mentioned, would be to maintain integrity at all times. And as a leader, you need to be really approachable so that your team members can be really more open, more forthcoming with their ideas. And when you just ensure there is a safe space for everyone to share their opinion, share their views, and have good and meaningful discussions, I think that will be a hallmark or an achievement for you as a leader. When you're approachable, obviously the results will really be on the positive side if you choose to do it right. So maintaining integrity and being approachable as a leader are really important in addition to the 5 points we just mentioned.
Cool. Then I can't believe that we're already at the end, and that we finished and this discussion. It somehow was so quick. I don't know. It was a lovely discussion today. I think with a lot of experience and a lot of expertise, also from your side on the executive coaching and how you approach it. I love this format. I hope you guys love it too. Make sure that you connect with us on LinkedIn. Just search for our names, look up our websites. We are also available for discovery calls if you want to know more. And just make sure that you engage with either Shreyas directly or me. We're going to do this every week. We're here to answer more questions. And I leave the last word to Shreyas this time.
Obviously, we are here to answer any questions. So please feel free to send us questions either through DMs, or you can find links to our email IDs on our websites. So you can always send us emails with your questions, and we will be able to answer them in the coming live sessions. And as you rightly said, this is a great format, and I really look forward to doing more of these sessions as well.
Awesome. Then have a great day if it's morning, noon, or evening, and we see you soon. Bye.